Running is a funny thing. Sometimes you feel amazing and energized after a run, while other times you feel completely spent and even a little nauseous. And then there are the other times when you hit a sweet spot you never knew existed, an all-encompassing bliss that washes over you, something that can only be described as a runner's high. If you're lucky enough to experience this, you might spend the rest of your life chasing it. But what's going on exactly in your body and brain when you get a runner's high? According to new scientific research, it's not what you may have heard. Here's what we now know about this running phenomenon, including how you might be able to maximize your chances of achieving it. What is a runner's high? A runner's high is exactly what it sounds like. A high triggered by running or other high-intensity aerobic exercises like cycling, rowing, or swimming. But what does runner's high feel like? People who experienced it report feeling euphoric, as well as incredibly calm and relaxed. If this sounds like how people describe a high from drugs, you wouldn't be too far off base. Of course, this is an all-natural high, a result of your brain and your body producing all sorts of feel-good chemicals, including ones that are very much like cannabis. Yep, you heard that right. This feeling can also reduce pain and anxiety, as well as keep you running longer, notes Jeremy Frost, PhD, director of the Holbrook Exercise Physiology Center and an associate professor at Minnesota State University. Runners he spoke with reported feeling in a state of flow, like their effort was actually effortless, and they could keep running for a surprisingly long time at that pace, even when they didn't experience full-on euphoria. Of course, when you feel that way, you can run for longer at a good clip, which can boost your workout and its health benefits. That extra brain boost makes you feel great, so you may also feel more motivated to work out again in the future. What causes runner's high? The answer to this question is trickier than it appears. That's because the chemistry of the body, and particularly the brain, is very complex, says Dr. Frost. And scientists are still figuring out how various neurotransmitters and hormones work both on their own and together. Until recently, researchers believed that endorphins were responsible for producing runner's high, and while these opiate-like hormones certainly contribute to how good you feel after a run, they may not put you over the top and into runner's high territory. That may be the work of endocannabinoids, neurotransmitters that produce effects similar to cannabis. Or it could be an interplay between them and other chemicals released during exercise. Why do people experience runner's high? Like so many other things, we may be hardwired to experience this sensation because of our all-important survival instinct. After all, long before grocery stores and cars, humans had to chase their food if they wanted to eat. They were essentially long-distance endurance athletes out of sheer necessity, according to a 2012 study published in the Journal of Experimental Biology. After all, running can be exhausting, so their brains may have provided a little extra oomph to keep them going and get that meal. Is there a way to guarantee a runner's high? Unfortunately, no, and a true runner's high is a relatively rare phenomenon, even though you can certainly feel great, accomplished, and less stressed after any workout. I found that a runner's high cannot be contrived or planned, says one of the runners. It can come from an enjoyable workout where you find a deep release to hitting miles you didn't know you could accomplish. But overall, I've found there's an element of surprising yourself that helps you get to that feeling of floating and of everything coming together. That said, there are a few things that may increase your chances of feeling like you're in the zone. Timing. Runner's World also theorizes that morning runs might be your best bet for achieving a runner's high. Research shows that endocannabinoid levels are 3 times higher when you first wake up than they are at night, and that you need at least 8 hours of sleep per night for optimal endocannabinoid production. While this hasn't yet been studied in relation to a runner's high, there is certainly no harm in testing out this theory for yourself. So, what's the takeaway here? There's nothing quite like a runner's high to motivate you toward the finish line, whether it's an actual finish line during a marathon or your own personal best during a less formal run. While there's no surefire recipe for that perfect cocktail of endocannabinoids and other brain chemicals, there are a few things you can do to maximize the chances you will experience this phenomenon, including running for longer spurts at a greater intensity. But regardless of whether you get there or not, you will still reap all the amazing benefits of running or other aerobic exercise, including improved heart health, cholesterol levels, blood sugar levels, mental health, and even sleep.